Hi, John Falstrom again, coming at you. We're talking some heavy stuff today. Today's June 10th, 2016. We're going deep today. We're going way deep. This session is how to use the modal system with rock blues, which is huge. You'll understand now all these songs that you've been playing. A lot of classic rock from the 70s, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Rolling Stones. This is how they write their songs. So we're going to use the key of A again. I've been using the key of A a lot because of the 3 sharp factor. Here's the A major scale. You got your F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. Those are our notes we got to keep track. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. Now, the blues scale again. I just talked about it in my last video. We are at EADG 4 headquarters. We've gotten deeper now. It's pitch dark down there except these colored lights. Don't know actually what time it is anymore. Dave, do you know what time Dave's here, my buddy? What is it? AM, PM? Who knows?
11:45 at night.
Alright, we're going to go rock blues, how to use the modal system. Okay, so we got our blues scale. Root 2, flat 3, major 3. You don't eliminate. You got your 4. We're going to throw our flat 5 in because that's a blue note. You got your perfect 5th, major 6, your other blue note G, flat 7, major 7th, G sharp, and then octave. So here's your blues scale. Not this. That's the minor pentatonic with the flat 5th. That is used in blues all the time for soloing. But that's inside, again, the Dorian mode. So, with rock blues, we can do a little adjusting with the modes. Keep them dirty. They go in the same order. So, a rock blues song, typical chord changes will be, we're in the key of A. Next chord will be G. And it's like, whoa, key of A has 3 sharps. C sharp, F sharp, G sharp. What do? We got a G? Where did that come from? Did we change keys? No, we didn't change keys. What we're doing is we're taking the flat 7 and making that a chord. Making its own chord. So the flat 7 G becomes its own chord. Now, what mode are we going to play on that? Well, the Dorian mode is used on 1 in the key of A. Because that gives you both blue notes. C and G. Remember, C and G are your 2 main blue notes in the key of A. Flat 3, flat 7. Flat 3 is C, flat 7 is G. Now, with rock blues, we take that G and C and they become chords. So here's your G. That's a flat 7 chord, we call it. Now, if we play the Dorian mode on A, that means automatically we go down a whole step. You're going to play the G major scale. Because you got G, which is a blue note. You got your A, B, C natural. That's your other blue note. So you got both blue notes, E, F sharp, and G, which are in the key of A blues. So every note is in the key of A blues. So when you go, you got A, G. Now you got the G, you play your major scale anywhere on the bass. Come up with some riff. A little quick one just to show you, to know your modes. Now, A. So what I'm thinking is, I got many options. I'm on this A chord. I can play the mixed Lydian mode still, because it's a major chord. Now, if I want to use more of a riff or a melody, I would use the Dorian mode to get that flat 3. Or use both thirds, minor and major. See, you've heard that before. It's all good. It depends what you want. You have to decide. You got to make these decisions. So I'm going to use a Dorian mode on my 1 chord. Just see, that's Dorian. Now, my next chord change, when I go to G, and it's going to happen, I'm thinking major scale. Now, I go to D. In the key of A would be the 4 chord. It would be the mixed Lydian mode. Because if this is Dorian, this is major scale, G. From G major, D is the 5th note. We use the mixed Lydian mode here. On the 4 chord, we want to make it major. Dorian mode, or you can combine all three modes, all three major modes. Watch this. You got D, E, F sharp. This is all gold. G is your blue note. The G sharp's in the Lydian mode anyways, on the 4. Perfect 5th. You got your B, which is in the Lydian. Now you got your flat 7. That's a blue note, the C. You got your C sharp there. So you got all these notes that are gold. You can use that. If you want to just go one mode, just break it up into a mode, which I like doing. Think mixed Lydian mode on this D chord, which is actually the 4 chord. That. Now back to A. Like I said, bands like Led Zeppelin, Stones, classic rock use rock blues a lot. Perfect example would be, I'll just take a riff. I'll use the Dorian mode. All these riffs you're hearing, that's actually from the Dorian mode. The flat 3rd up here to C. That's all these riffs. But adding that flat 5th in there to the Dorian mode. It's the minor pentatonic with the flat 5th, but it'd be better if you knew it was the Dorian mode. You got total control now of the key. If this is Dorian, which it is, you go to a G chord, which you're gonna go, you got the G major scale. Boom. You can add that sharp 4 because that is, again, that's the C sharp, that's in the key of A. That's good. But break it into 7-note modal system. That way you can get a grip on it. Now another chord right there. Here's the chords: A major, C major, G major, A major. Now watch, this is Dorian mode on A. Now when I get to the C chord, right here, that is now a chord. That's a blue note. That's a flat 3. Becomes a chord in rock blues. The blue notes become chords. That's a huge. Gotta know this, because I'd be playing A. This is when I was younger, and it's like C. It's like, wait a minute, C is not in the key of A. Well, I have no idea what it is, so I'll just maybe just do an arpeggio. I have no idea if we change keys. I know where something happened, but again, it's just the blue note becoming its own chord in A blues. Now, what mode do we use on the C? Well, if we're on Dorian on A, G major, this would be the Lydian. So on the flat 3 chord of any rock blues song in a major key, major blues key, and we're in A, you go to a C, that's a chord. That's a flat 3 chord. You use the Lydian mode. Again, because you got the C is the blue note, you got your D, which is in the key of A, E, F sharp, key of A, G, A again, right here, B and C, your blue notes. You got your 2 blue notes are C and G. C, G. These other notes are all in A blues. A Dorian, to C, G major, scale, to A Dorian. Now, we go to a 5 chord. Watch this. A lot of times it'll revolve, so start building up on that 5, the E. Here's where it gets, you got a lot of choices. We got the mixed Lydian mode, normally. Now, we can use the minor scale, E minor scale. I like doing this a lot. Because again, you got your 2 blue notes are G and C. Here's E, F sharp, G is the flat 3rd, A, B, C, D, and E. That's the minor scale. If you don't know the minor scale, you're gonna definitely want to. If you want to get to a point where you know, like, you're there, you're gonna learn this stuff. It's gonna hit you. You're gonna bump into it. Either you get it or you don't. And if you don't get it, you're gonna kind of be in a rut for a while till you get it. So on that 5 chord, even though it's a major chord, which it's gonna be, I'm gonna play a minor scale against that, because again, I'm playing both my blue notes, the G and the C. We're in the key of A. Remember, A blues. C and G are your blue notes. Well, here's the G, here's the C in minor, E minor. So you're playing all the notes in the key of A, plus you're adding your 2 key notes, which are the blue notes, G and C, right here. All the way down, back to A. Here's a riff, using the flat 5th, right here. Again, this comes from the Dorian mode. You don't want to think the A minor pentatonic flat fifth, because now you're stuck. You got nowhere to go. See, I know I'm taking from my Dorian. I can go all day on my Dorian mode and add that flat fifth. We go to a C chord. I know that's the Lydian mode. This goes for every rock blues song. So no matter what key you go in, you go to a flat 3, you play the Lydian mode. You go down to a flat 7, which you know you are, the song will. G, major scale. Remember that. Key of A, major blues. When it goes to the G chord, you play a G major scale. That makes, now in the Dorian mode, makes all the sense in the world. Another example. Little AC/DC, little example, I got it. 1, that's an F sharp, that's an inversion of D. It's really a D chord, but the basic, an inversion is where you play the third of the chord first. If you don't know it, EADG 4, by the way, is the theory book I wrote back 23 years ago. I published it. It's in there. Inversions you got to know. But anyways, here's the riff. A. Simple as that. Now, what's going on is you're playing the A, which is the 1 chord, which is coming from the Dorian. F sharp is from the D chord to a G. That's the important chord is G. That's a chord. G is the flat 7 chord. Flat 7 chord, major scale. Always, no matter what key you're in. 1, mixed Lydian on the C, G. You got to know what notes are chords and what notes are just riffs. Here's A, C, D, to G. Typical rock blues song. A, Dorian, C, mixed Lydian, D, mixed G major scale. A, Dorian, C, Lydian, let me get that D again, D, mixed Lydian, G major scale. See, Dorian, C, D, mixed Lydian, G, Dorian, Lydian, A, C Lydian, D mixed Lydian, G major scale. To recap, again, the 2 blue notes, the flat 3, flat 7, in a rock blues song will become chords in the song. That's how you know it's a rock blues song. That's how you know you're using the blues scale with the song. If key of A major has 3 sharps, F, C, and G. Well, if you're going to a flat 3 chord or a flat 7 chord, you now know you're using the blues scale. So what happens is now you start thinking Dorian on 1. Start thinking mixed. You can intertwine them. Start mixed Lydian on the 1, Dorian on 1, because of the blue notes. The C chord, that's definitely the Lydian mode. The flat 3. So you got to remember, flat 3 is Lydian, flat 7 chord is major scale, because that explains the Dorian. It gives you the blue notes and it keeps you in the key. Definitely learn this. It's not, once you know the form, it's like finding a needle in the haystack. I found a needle. I showed you how I found it. So all you got to do is start memorizing. If you want to get, you should get this. This is kind of a no-brainer. Once you find a needle, it makes all the sense in the world. I was searching for that needle a long time, and I found it. That's what's going on. So I showed you what a needle was. Now start playing it. Learn your modes. Learn your bass. Again, I'm going to come back because these sessions, you got to kind of be in the right zone for these. I do, and we're gonna talk about memorizing your notes on the bass, because again, shapes can only take you so far. If you don't know your notes, you're not going to see, again, the needle in the haystack. A lot of guys get by without lowering their notes, but again, if you want to complete this, memorize your notes. Okay, I'll be right back. Today's June 10, 2016, and I'll see you shortly. Thanks. Bye.